Realism is a literary movement that emerged in the 19th century as a response to Romanticism. It focuses on depicting life as it truly is, with all its flaws, complexities, and nuances. Unlike Romanticism, which often idealized the world and emphasized emotion, realism sought to ground itself in the ordinary and everyday, portraying the lives of ordinary people with authenticity and accuracy.
Features of realism in literature. Emergence in the 19th century.
Realism began to gain prominence in the mid-19th century, particularly in France, and later spread across Europe and the Americas. It was heavily influenced by the rapid changes brought about by the Industrial Revolution, urbanization, and the rise of the middle class. Writers sought to move away from fantastical elements and focus on the world as it was experienced by ordinary people.
A commitment to depicting reality.
The hallmark of realism is its commitment to portraying life without embellishment. Realist writers emphasize the mundane and the everyday, focusing on ordinary events and people rather than the extraordinary. They aim for a truthful, objective representation of life, often using detailed descriptions to create a sense of authenticity.
Focus on social problems.
Realism often delves into the societal issues of the time, such as poverty, class disparity, and the struggles of the working class. By addressing these topics, realist literature serves as both a mirror to society and a critique of its shortcomings. It gives voice to the marginalized and highlights the human condition in a changing world.
Types of realism in literature. Domestic realism.
Also known as sentimental realism, this type focuses on the lives of individuals and families, often highlighting domestic settings. It explores relationships, moral dilemmas, and the dynamics of everyday life. Writers such as Jane Austen and George Eliot are often associated with this type of realism.
Social realism.
Social realism addresses broader societal issues, portraying the struggles of the lower and working classes. It often critiques social structures and injustices, aiming to inspire awareness and reform. Notable authors in this category include Charles Dickens and Émile Zola.
Psychological realism.
Psychological realism delves into the inner workings of the human mind, exploring characters' thoughts, emotions, and motivations. It seeks to present a deep, nuanced understanding of human psychology. Authors like Henry James and Fyodor Dostoevsky are considered pioneers of this type.
Realism versus naturalism.
Although realism and naturalism are closely related and often confused, they are distinct movements with different goals and approaches. Realism focuses on portraying life as it is. Realist authors aim for objectivity and truth, portraying characters and events in a straightforward, unembellished manner. Naturalism, a later offshoot of realism, is more deterministic, emphasizing the influence of environment and heredity on human behavior. It often depicts characters as being shaped by natural forces beyond their control, such as biology or social conditions. For example, Gustave Flaubert's Madame Bovary is a quintessential work of realism, portraying the protagonist's struggles in a lifelike and objective manner. In contrast, Émile Zola's Germinal exemplifies naturalism, emphasizing the oppressive forces of poverty and societal constraints.
Key figures in realism. Théophile Gautier.
Théophile Gautier, 1811-1872, was one of the foundational figures of the realist movement. While initially associated with Romanticism, he shifted towards a more realistic approach in his later works. Gautier's writings, including novellas and poems, emphasized detailed observation and a commitment to truth. One of Gautier's significant contributions to realism is his rejection of artifice and romanticized idealism. His works often serve as a bridge between Romanticism and realism, illustrating his ability to blend poetic beauty with a grounded perspective on human experience.
Gustave Flaubert.
Gustave Flaubert, 1821-1880, is widely regarded as one of the most influential realist authors. His masterpiece, Madame Bovary, is a landmark in realist literature. The novel depicts the life of Emma Bovary, a woman trapped in her romantic illusions and mundane reality. Through meticulous prose and sharp observation, Flaubert paints a vivid picture of provincial life and the limitations imposed by society. Another notable work by Flaubert is Salammbô, which showcases his versatility in combining historical detail with realist technique. Flaubert's dedication to precision and his disdain for sentimentality solidify his reputation as a cornerstone of the movement. Realism in literature represents a significant shift in how writers approach storytelling, focusing on the authenticity of human experience. By prioritizing truthful depictions of life, addressing social issues, and exploring human psychology, realism has left an indelible mark on literary history. Through the works of figures like Théophile Gautier and Gustave Flaubert, realism continues to inspire writers and readers, encouraging them to see the world with clarity and compassion.